Raj, this is Aurelio Paredes Bautista, the engineer poet who predicted that the COVID pandemic will be ending on July 13, 2020. And I shall be presenting to you things which will lead to the happening of my prediction. I am showing you a book, a Xerox copy of the book, written by John DiMambro and published in Scotland by Robert Gibson. This is my source of some of the data. In the one of the pages, page 43 of the same book, what is the nature of viruses and how do they invade cells? This is my basis. It says relevant points. A virus can exist in two different forms, a static phase and a dynamic phase. In the static phase, the virus particle, the virion, has no active function and comprises the nucleic and genome, surrounded by a protein coat called the capsid, some having an outer membranous envelope. The capsid code serves to protect the genome. So there are two phases. The static, which is the inactive, and the dynamic phase consists of the infected cell in which the virion is dismantled, allowing transcription and replication of the genome, leading to synthesis and release of the new virions. Viruses are characterized by their small size. The largest of them is smallpox at 300 nanometer, while the majority are less than 150 nanometer, and the smallest parvovirus at 20 nanometer. And by the fact that they contain only one type of nucleic acid, which can be DNA or RNA, but not both. Viruses also have a simple structure. The virion is metabolically inert. No energy generating system is present, nor protein synthesizing system. Continue. Viruses are obligate parasites and therefore can only replicate inside a host cell. That means if the body is not sick of any morbidity, it is safe. A viral infection of a host cell comprises attachment to the surface of the host cell via specific receptors, giving rise to virus host specificity, followed by penetration of the host cell, which in animal cells is by the process of phagocytosis. After penetration, replication using the host cell ribosomes, energy, and many of its enzymes takes place, which gives rise to the production of newly synthesized viral components to complete the production of new viruses. Viral release is by lysis of the host cell membrane by a viral enzyme, which is made late in the replication process and causes the death of the infected cell. I shall read to you the brief summary of the COVID-19 episode all over the world. By March 15, 2020, there were 55,000 deaths all over the world. Number 2, enhanced community quarantine was introduced in the Philippines. On March 15, just the same day, I traced the beginning of the pandemic by using the data available at the CNN and connected it to the others related to the moon and the tilts of the Earth's axis. The beginning was December 21, 2019, the winter solstice. March 15 was a wise decision for the Philippine lockdown. After the Ides of March, there was this equinox and then the new moon. The new moon spiked the infection and death after the equinox of March 21. The full moon on April 8 righted the situation, the imbalance, and by April 15, the crossover point between the recoveries and the deaths happened. Continuing, I predicted the COVID-19 to be on the wane on May 6, and on that date, it was so. Because the full moon was on May 7, the overseas Filipino workers started coming back and the new infections appeared. Were it not for the coming back of the OFW, it would have been a smooth sailing for the Philippines. The sun was directly hitting the Philippines and there was no danger of a second wave. You look at a picture which shows the situation in the Philippines. You have a short left leg, short left leg and short left foot. And the right leg here and the longer foot because of the coming back of the overseas Filipino workers. The people in areas where there was oblique sunlight had a higher infection rate than those in direct sunlight. I showed that computation in my previous post. In the direct sunlight, we have 13 per 100,000 infections. 13 per 100,000. In oblique sunlight, we had 74 infections per 100,000 population. The death rate for those infected was about 6 per 100. Either you're in direct sunlight or in your oblique sunlight at first. But later, the people under the direct sunlight had a lower death rate than those in the oblique sunlight area. Continued reading. Big single-day infections of the world came even after the June 22 summer solstice. But for me, that was not a thing to worry about in the northern hemisphere. The rays of the sun sustained everyone there, and the virus will revert to the static phase. And that happened, although it seems to me nobody is seeing it that way, the same way that I see it. Only Brazil in the southern hemisphere will be much affected, but the rain and the typhoon will come. And then the virus will be further suppressed to the static phase. Wearing face mask, washing hands, and social distancing will help you. You can further add to this external defense. The previous were just external defenses. By taking generous amounts of water, generous amounts of vitamin C, and sleeping early. These three are your internal defense. Continuing, it will now depend on your semantics whether you classify a person who died of pneumonia, COVID, as a COVID casualty. It is like describing a glass half full or half empty. For me, any person without any disease called comorbidity is not a likely candidate as a victim of COVID-19 after July 13. That is very plain from the book published by Gibson. I have hinted to you in my previous post that transmitters may impair the immune system. I am now showing you here the analog signal. The analog signal is a smooth wave that goes up and down. It is friendly. While the digital signal, which carries more information, is stop-go or 0-1. Stop and go. This does not mix well with our bodily vibration. Continuing, ABS-CBN digital transmission was muted and the Cebu COVID infection went down on the next day. Is my observation correct? Now, we have to decide now whether we have to make the state leave and make a little sacrifice by social distancing, washing hands, drinking plenty of water, generous amount of vitamin C. It will be up to us. This is Aurelio Paredes Bautista again, and I have given you my share of the burden of the world. Please listen and find out if what I said here is true or not. But my prediction stays the same. On July 13, we will be rid of this virus. They will be reverted back to the static phase. With the help of our prayers, whether we are Muslims or Christians, the Lord, the Almighty is listening. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. That's according to the Bible. And according to the Quran, it says, with every difficulty, there is a relief. Verily, with every difficulty, there is a relief. And therefore, when you are free from your immediate task, turn to the Lord in prayer. This is Aurelio Paredes Bautista. This is all for now.